Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Needle. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys just how good this new controller aim assist is after the new update. If you guys did see my video yesterday, I showed you guys all of the new settings that did get added into Fortnite for all the controller players. The settings are awesome. There's a lot more customization that you can do, but the big update and the big difference is in the aim assist if you use the new settings. It is quote unquote supposed to be aimbot from some Twitter clips that I've seen, and I'll show you guys some examples in a bit, but basically I'll just be covering the differences in aim assist before and after the patch, and how you can also get the old aim assist back in the settings. If you guys are new to the channel and enjoy Fortnite content, anything to do with controllers and just getting better at Fortnite, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications for the channel. It would mean a lot to me. It helps the channel out a ton. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the video. Now, just to show you a quick example before I go in depth and break all the new aim assist settings down, let me just show you this clip that just shows off how good the tracking is. Watch Evade Tendy here take this guy out of the air in creative.
I'm literally gonna
All I can say after that is just wow. I'm not sure what exactly they were thinking when they added this in. I have a good idea of what they were looking to go for. I mean, simply put, I think before the update they were assuming that people were relying too much on the L2 auto rotate, basically just looking in at somebody, hitting L2 and it kind of rotating onto their body. I think they were trying to nerf that, because if you actually do use the new aim assist settings, it doesn't let you do the auto lock on at all. So I think they were completely trying to get rid of that, and they wanted to give a boost to the tracking and following people while aimed in. So as you can see, it definitely helps a lot. That guy was completely lasered out of the air. He had no issue really tracking him as he was flying around, and you'll see that a lot if you end up using the new aiming settings. Now, and I think one of the big things that they added in is that you can actually track people hip fire a lot easier now. I saw people were getting aim assist on their hip fire shots when they weren't even aimed in at all, so that was pretty cool to see. But just to give you guys a better understanding of what they actually did to the aim assist, I saw this right up here on Reddit because I was very confused myself on what they were going for and what it does. Let me read what he says here. I'll link the post in the description below, so credit goes to him. So with the new aim system and settings, L2 auto rotation, also known as L2 spam, is no longer a thing, even for the first L2 that you do. Therefore, you cannot force tracking with an AR by spamming L2. And that right there was a big problem in the past. I think they kind of went into this with the old mindset of aim assist. Most people will just track when someone's flying in the air. They're tracking them with their assault rifle. No one really spams L2 anymore, but that's besides the point. It is important to note that since even the first L2 does not provide any auto rotation, this will also affect guns such as the Deagle at long range. And the Deagle is one of my favorite guns to use for aim assist, so you can no longer use that if you're using the new aim settings. However, the actual tracking assist has been buffed greatly. While your cursor is moving around a target, there is a considerable increase in pull towards the target. However, if you are not moving your right stick where there is absolutely no pull towards the target, thus these changes will specifically enhance your natural tracking while you are moving your right stick. So just analyzing that after reading that out, this is a great boost to anybody that's looking to use medium to long range aim assist. And I think where it's going to end up hurting people the most is up close, because if you're not getting any of that L2 auto rotate, personally, I like to use the auto rotate features on my shotguns the most. So when I see someone coming up and I have a close range shotgun shot lined up, I got a nice right hand peek, my first instinct is to line up an L2 to the head with the pump. And now since there's no auto rotate at all, this is going to kind of change the close range meta if you do use the new aiming settings. So that's something to keep in mind, because there are benefits to using the old one and there are some benefits with the tracking of using the new aim assist setting. Now, the next thing I do want to cover, and you covered in this post here, is how you can actually switch back to the old aim assist settings that we're all used to with our favorite auto rotate feature. And that's actually what I've gone back to. I tried the new aim assist a little bit, but just for how I like to play personally, and especially when making edits with a shotgun, I just don't feel like the new aim assist setting is going to be useful for me specifically, but it's all going to come down to preference. And by the way, I know you guys love the controller settings. I will have an updated controller settings video out very, very soon. I can't give you guys a date yet just because I got to test around with the new settings more. I'm going to try to tailor it towards people who want to use the old aim assist and the new aim assist, so have separate settings on what you guys should be using. That's besides the point, but actually how to actually revert and go back to the old aim assist, all you need to do is just go to your advanced aim settings, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then there's going to be an option which is legacy look controls, and this is basically all of the old stuff. So when you turn the legacy look controls back on, that's basically the old aim assist I've been referring to and that we've always been used to. So if you revert back to the legacy look controls, you will lose the ability to actually customize your aim with all the new stuff they added in, and you're going to return back to the old settings. And this also is going to make you lose the red crosshair change that I'm sure you guys have noticed, and the ability to use the L2 auto rotate feature again. And obviously I feel like you guys would understand this, but you're going to lose your aim assist tracking boost that was added in the update if you do switch back. So there's no way to have the best of both, where you could have the L2 auto rotate and the new added tracking. That would be awesome though, and I would definitely love to try to play with that. That would be a legit aimbot right there, but unfortunately you cannot do that. But what you can do on the flip side though is actually input your old legacy settings that you're used to playing with before the update. You can actually copy those settings into the new ones, and it's going to do its best to actually kind of mimic those and give you a rough kind of outline of what they would be. So you can play on the new aim assist with your old settings, if that does make sense. If not, I'll go a little more in depth. So he says it is very important that if you do decide to use the new aim system, that you turn the advanced look settings on and then go all the way to the bottom and copy the legacy settings. Doing this will input all of the values from your legacy settings and translate them to the new ones. I strongly suggest that you actually make these percentage boosts to be set to 0. This is going to remove aim acceleration, and this was an option that was not in the past. If you guys understand what aim acceleration is, I'll explain it here pretty quickly. I've gone over in the past, but basically the way it works with any kind of acceleration, when you first start moving your right stick to start aiming, the initial speed is actually not the full one. You don't get into the full speed of your sensitivity until your right stick is all the way locked out, so it's all the way to the right or the left. That's when you get the full speed. And then what this new version can do with no aim acceleration, if you set it to 0, it basically is going to stay constant at all times, so there's no like unexpected boost to your aim, and it probably would be a lot easier for shotgun aim. I tested it a little bit, but I can't really give a final, use it or do not use it yet, but this was not an option in the past. Aim acceleration can be helpful to some, but the vast majority of controller players will be more consistent without aim acceleration. It is similar to how mouse and keyboard players turn off mouse acceleration in their settings for any FPS game. So that's something you guys definitely do want to try out. You want to see if you're good with aim acceleration or you're not good with it, but keep in mind that you do get more of a constant smooth aim on controller, and it's not going to be any hitches or any unexpected movement if you do turn it to 0. That is my best explanation I can give for you guys on how the new aim assist system works, and hopefully that did make sense. I was clear about how you can get the old aim assist back, but that's all for the whole actual what you can do and what it's about. Now I want to discuss more of a topic and give my input on what everyone's saying about controllers turning to aimbot. It's not even fair. PC players don't even stand a chance. I'm switching to controller. First off, if you play keyboard and mouse and you've never played controller in the past, please do not actually switch to controller, and I am not kidding at all. And sorry if I'm calling this kid out, but I did get a DM from this kid who was basically just like, yeah, I've been on keyboard and mouse for a decent amount of time, but I've been practicing controller for the past 2 weeks, and after the recent update, I feel like I have to switch to controller. And by no means should you limit yourself to controller if you already play keyboard and mouse. It just doesn't make sense. Aim assist is just not that good. And for all the people that are on PC and maybe butthurt, sorry, that's just my opinion. Aim assist is just something needed in the game. You have a thumbstick to aim. You do not have the same range of motion a mouse has. Aim assist is 100% needed. If you had the raw aim on a control stick, on the little joystick right here, your aim would be completely awful. You need aim assist to aim against people who have a mouse, which they can use their hand and their arm to aim. That's why aim assist is in the game. I feel like people forget that. They just assume aim assist is just some sort of aimbot and you just spam L2 and all your shots hit. It's never been like that. You could take all the top pros on PC, give them a controller, and it's still going to be a little bit of a learning curve. You have to learn it and understand it a little bit. That is my opinion on it, at least. I hate to see when people are bickering back and forth about the aim assist debate. It's so old and overdone, and especially in the competitive scene where 90% plus of players are on mouse. It's not like the top competitive scene is just controller players running around abusing aim assist. There's a very few of them, and they've been on the scene for a while. It's players like Nick Merckx, New Aruch, people like them, Innocence, all the people in Ghost. You guys know who they are. Those are the players that are on the top at controller, and it's because they're genuinely good at the game and not because they spam aim assist. That's my take on, at least. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video here. And like I said, shout out to the user who actually provided me with a lot of this information on Reddit. I'll have that link down below in the description. As always, guys, hope you guys did enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.